Welcome to Money Conversations with KJ. KJ is a lifelong entrepreneur who's made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, and found his way back again. If you're looking for a sterile how-to, you're in the wrong place. KJ and his guests will walk you through real-life situations told by the people who live them, and they are as messy as they are inspiring. Each episode will offer lessons learned, advice on how to replicate successes and avoid pitfalls, and a new perspective to power your financial literacy. Far from a one-size-fits-all, this podcast can help you build a roadmap to your personal promised land. Milk and honey for some, whiskey and steak for others, and remind you that you're not alone on this journey.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm KJ, your host. I have a guest here today I'm real excited about because we just met. I just learned just a couple of things, and I think we're going to unfold some really unique things because I think the guest here is sitting a little better than the average of her peers, and we'll get into that. But welcome, Tabitha.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Awesome. It's going to be good. So, yeah, Tabitha is a loan officer, right?
Yes,
she does mortgages. And from what I understand, you started that really early.
I did, 21.
At 21, right? So you've been doing it for 11
years
11
now.
years,
Yeah.
right? So that's young because at 21, most people are trying to figure out, hey, what am I going to do, right? And some are going to college and some aren't. And you obviously chose to do this path.
It was a total accident how I got in, but yeah, I became an assistant at first. I was working at Starbucks, and this guy that owned a mortgage company came in, said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm a manager, and I'm going to college." He's like, "Do you want to come be my assistant while you're going through college?" And then I worked from him, and the rest is history.
Right.
Decided I love loans.
And you love doing it.
I love doing it.
I mean, at 11 years later, absolutely,
fell in love with it.
you're doing it because the money can definitely be pretty good.
Yes, it could
But we
be.
were talking before we got on the air here how it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have had to learn how to really manage money.
For sure.
Unlike, the average W-2 earner who gets paid $X and your check's the same every week or 2 weeks or whatever, right?
Exactly.
And you're single, so you don't have, I'm going to presume you don't have a lot of bills. Do you have a lot of bills?
I mean, I have my mortgage, my car payment, and
Typical?
normal. Typical, yeah.
Typical
Not
stuff.
a lot of bills.
Well, let's start with, I always ask my first question to my guests is, I want you to think back as far as you can, how old you were when mom and dad sat you down and taught you about money.
Oh, they didn't teach me. I had a very bad role model. So let's just say that.
Okay.
They did the opposite. They taught me what not to do.
What not to do.
Yeah.
Well, I always ask that question because, and again, 99% of people I ask that question to tell me exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Mom and dad never did set me down, right? And we wonder why 64% of Americans today live paycheck to paycheck because no one taught us how to play the money game. And so consequently, you go out there, we start earning money, and you have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And anytime we have to figure out anything in life, there's trials and tribulations, right? We fail, we learn from our mistakes. And with money, that can be costly and not fun, right? So then talk to me about how old were you? And one of the things, since mom and dad didn't actually sit you down, but I find through conversation, handle our money because of, even though mom and dad didn't teach us, we subconsciously start learning between the ages of 5 and 7, meaning you were watching mom and dad, and I'll give you an example. Okay. And I don't even know your parents. We haven't talked about them. And you either had parents who were both savers or both spenders or one of each.
Well, I think I think my stepdad wanted to be a saver, but my mom didn't let him. So they spent a lot.
So subconsciously, as we're growing up, right, as kids, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever, we're watching our parents with how they handle money.
Yeah.
And at those young ages, we just believe, hey, that's mom and dad. That must be how it works.
Right.
Right. That's normal.
Right.
And then we get to the age of making money and handling our own, and we're like, well, that's what mom and dad did, so I guess that's what I got to do.
Right.
Did that happen to you?
Yeah, kind of.
See?
I just, the whole living paycheck to paycheck thing, it's not my cup of tea, so.
No, not anymore, but when you were younger,
When
right?
I was younger, yes.
When did you realize, at what age, I need to get serious with money?
Well, I mean, I had to move out when I was 18. So my parents lost their house and everything. And so I was of age to move out. And so I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I did. And then I was living on my own. So that's really when I learned the whole concept of budgeting and
you got thrown in the deep end.
I got thrown out. Hey, here.
You're like sink or swim.
Yes. And so I definitely I got 2 jobs. I was working 2 jobs through college. But I mean, I had to learn it the hard way, rent's due on this date. And then I was like, okay, then my parents did the thing is, one thing my parents did do is make me start paying like my car insurance and all that stuff like when I was 16.
Okay.
So it kind of I always had that, like I knew how to pay bills, you know.
Right.
And I knew I just doing a certain date, but then I didn't realize like, oh, toilet paper, oh, paper towels, oh, like laundry detergent, all of the stuff I now have to provide for myself.
Right.
And that wasn't in my budget before, you know?
It was a surprise.
It was a surprise.
You know, it's funny you tell that story because, and I've shared this story with the audience before, my youngest, when she was 18, wanted to move out. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's sit down and figure it out. And we penciled it all out, literally, toilet paper, everything, right? And it came to $X, and she's like, oh, I guess I got to go get a job. I'm like, yeah, probably, right?
Yeah.
And then I had shared with her, so just because you get a job doesn't mean you can move out. I required her to have at least 3 months of all that, the money that we calculated for her before she could move out, and the moving cost, right? I said, I want you to have a cushion before you leave. Because one thing that I shared, and you tell me if this happened to you, because it does happen to most, and it's happened to me for sure, where you've been literally broke, and the broke feeling in our guts, when you're broke, you're like, crap, I don't know how I'm going to pay the light bill or the insurance.
I've been there.
You know, like most of us have been there, right? My daughter's fortunate because that's the first thing I told her at 15 years old. I says, I don't want you to experience it. It's a horrible feeling. It's very anxiety, stress. It's terrible. And a lot of people stress about money. So that's why I required to do that for you, since mom and dad, you turned 18 and you literally got pushed into the deep end of the pool right away. You felt that.
Oh, I felt it. I was because I was like, oh my gosh, I only make this much an hour. And I was like, rent is this much. And my car insurance, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even have to eat. Like,
right,
you know,
right? Where's my food?
I'm like everything else, I'm not going to be able to eat. Okay, I'll just be really skinny. Like, that's kind of where I was at.
All right.
So it made me learn like the hard way.
Did it make you, how do I want to phrase this? More hungry for life?
Oh, it made me yes. So like, I mean, I've always been like, even when I was 16, I was like, I had like a job doing promo modeling on the weekends and like things like that. I've always, because of saw my parents struggle and stuff, I never wanted to feel like, I know the stress my parents felt, and like they shouldn't have been struggling. They both made great money, but they just didn't know how to manage it correctly. They were spenders, definitely lived above their means, like trying to, you know, my friends in middle school and high school, they all thought I was like rich, and I was like, no, my parents are just make it look like that, you know, kind of thing. It was
all a facade.
Exactly. And so like, I didn't ever want to be that way. So when I moved out, it's like, how do I build a life where I'm able to not like actually have money where I'm not stressed out, you know?
See, so you did learn subconsciously. You didn't realize what you learned till later. You know what I mean? With the things watching mom and dad as you were growing up, they made it, but they're obviously spenders. And then you recognize when you got thrown in the deep end of the pool, so to speak, that I can't live like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to live
like that.
You choose not to live like that.
Yes.
Did it take you a while to get to the point where, okay, I'm comfortable to pay my bills and I'm not stressing?
It did.
Like how long?
I think 24.
24.
Like 23, 24.
And how'd that make you feel? Do you distinctly remember, like, I have $X in the bank and I'm not sweating my bills anymore?
Yeah, I do remember that. Like, and I remember being like, okay, I can go to New York this year with my friends and I can afford to do this and I can buy this. Like, yeah, it felt good. It felt good to know everything was covered and I wasn't like, oh my God, how am I going to make next month happen? You know?
Right.
It was just, I felt like more at peace. And then I felt like I could focus more on things I need to focus on because my mind wasn't wondering about that kind of stuff.
Talk to me about credit cards.
Okay.
Do you remember when that started for you?
Yeah. So this is not the best story, but my mom actually, so she got me a credit card when I was 16. And because they're going through like a financial heartache, I didn't know I had a credit card. Okay. My mom used my credit card for bills. So I get this bill in the mail, and it was only like $600, $1,000 maxed out. And I didn't even use the card. And like, my mom's like, I'm sorry, we had it. And I had to pay it off. And I remember like, I was like all my paycheck, like, you know, like for like 1 month just to pay this thing off. But I was like, credit was such a big deal to me. And so then I learned that at the, you know, like, so I got that done. But then I had some medical collections end up going on my credit when I was around 21 that I ended up paying. And that hurt me, right? And then that's when I was like, okay, like it was a huge deal because then I was trying to go get my own condos and stuff and they'd be pulling my credit and then I'd have to explain. Like, so that's when I learned.
So again, a very common story.
Yeah.
This is why for you guys listening out there, if you have kids, do not give your kid a credit card, right? I remember when my daughter was 15, 16, wanted a credit card. I go, you can have a credit card as soon as you earn one. I'm not going to give you one.
Yeah.
And I explained the whole credit and how it works and whatnot. And so like anything in life, when we have to earn it, we take care of it more, right? Like if
Exactly.
someone gave you a car, usually the people beat up cars, but if you have to go work hard and buy your own car, you're going to take care of that thing. It gets washed regularly. You're like, I paid too much money. I'm keeping this thing nice. Same with your credit, right? So people need to learn how the credit works, how to keep it. And in your industry where you're at, you see these numbers all day long,
Yeah.
right? Credit scores from all over. And since I'm in the industry of real estate also, I know, I mean, people can buy houses with a low score. They're just going to pay higher rates. And that's across the board, guys, whether you're buying a house or a car or financing furniture, whatever it may be, you're just going to pay more because your credit's low.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go down a big rabbit hole of credit because it drives me bananas. But if you listen to someone like a Dave Ramsey, you ever listen to Dave Ramsey?
I do. I have, yeah.
And Dave Ramsey doesn't believe in credit at all because he's 100%
no debt.
no debt,
Yeah.
right? Debt adverse.
No debt.
And I'm okay with there's two debts, and I've explained it before, what I call good debt, bad debt. Bad debt is consumer debt, money that debts that doesn't make you money.
Yeah.
If you're in debt because it's making you money, I'm okay with that. A house makes you money, I'm okay with having house debt. You know what I mean?
Right.
I flip homes for a living, and I use OPM, other people's money. That's debt for a short period. I'm okay with that.
Right.
To me, it's a line
That's how you
item.
make money. Yeah.
It's a line item like the kitchen sink, right? The cost of money was $X. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I make money in the end, it is what it is. So, but bad debt can definitely be an anchor, like you mentioned a minute ago, where your mom racked it up, you had to pay it off, you had medical.
Yeah.
These are things that hold it down. But do you remember when you paid those things off, how fast your credit went up?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember looking, and all of a sudden I had like almost like 800, like it was like 770 FICO score, and I'm like, okay, it made my life. I mean, once you have good credit, your life's easier too.
Right.
Okay, so like, because then I had to buy another car, and it wasn't like hard, like it's like, okay, here's my credit, like this. Oh, you just need this much down, and you need that much down because of my credit, and like it just made everything easier.
Right.
Credit makes life easier.
It does. It does. And again,
Good credit.
The thing with, I want to make sure, guys, I don't badmouth Dave Ramsey by any means. I think he does fantastic things for a lot of folks. It's just who he's speaking to.
Right.
And he's 100% speaking to W-2 earners, people who trade time for money. He does not talk to entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs get in debt all day long.
Yeah.
Like if you know who Robert Kiyosaki is, right?
I
Like
do. I've read
those two guys are friends, and they battle a little bit because they're 100% opposites, right? Dave's no debt, and Robert's like, as much debt as I can get in, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm making more money.
Yeah.
But he's an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
He's not a W-2 earner. So I can't stress that enough for you guys listening. If you are a W-2 earner, you get a paycheck, stay out of debt. Debt is a cancer. It will keep you down.
Yeah, because how are you gonna make more money if you already know that's your set amount of money, right? Or you have to do something else.
Well, the purpose of when you got thrusted, like most people, so you decided to do some college, it sounded like, and then go to work, start making money. But what did you start doing with your money once you started to actually make it? What were some of the things you were spending money on?
Okay, well, what was I spending money on? Well, I was 21, like I was 21, 22. Well, I started saving money, right? Started doing that. That's first thing. I was able to save money, which was a big deal. Well, then I got into like my 401k, like Roth right away, right? Through my company. I started traveling though. That's what I started doing with my money is I traveled. Okay. And then I'm just going out with friends, just being young and dumb. I don't,
Well, again, and I've heard that phrase, and let's be young and smart, right? I definitely want people to enjoy life to the fullest as much as you can. But the problem is we're never really taught the difference between wants and needs.
Yeah. Oh, that's,
And most of us have 90% wants, 10% needs, right? And you end up spending more money than you should. And I advocate the sooner that we understand and learn that nothing makes more money than money. So we have to put our money to work, and you've mentioned the word savings a few times now, right? And I'm not a huge advocate of saving money as I am investing money.
Right. It makes sense because your money's making money for you.
The only money that we should have saved, so to speak, is 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, because we never know, like when COVID happened and the planet pretty much shut down and people are all freaking out and panicking, especially the people who are working paycheck to paycheck, right? They're like, holy crap, I can't go to work. What am I going to do? How am I going to get my food and pay my bills and boom, boom, boom? And people who had that 6-month cushion, well, I have a little time now to figure out plan B. I'm not going to freak out. Yeah. Things are going to be okay, honey. The kids are going to eat. We're going to be good. Right? We're going to figure out what's going on here. So it's more important about if you have investments and you're getting dividends and working, that you're still making money.
Yeah. And see, I was kind of stupid about it. Like, oh, buy this crypto thing. Or like, I just listen to dumb things, you know, like, oh, here's $1,000, this stupid investment. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that out there.
Right.
That not just your demographic, but everybody, where someone will come along, hey, buddy, you got to jump into this thing.
Yeah.
It's going to make a killing, boom, boom, boom. And
I'm such a gullible person when it comes to
that. Don't worry. Most people are. And I always just say that the only advice I'm going to give to everybody, because you never know when something good can definitely, be in front of you. And I always say we have opportunity in front of us all the time. It's just about recognizing if it is really one. Is if anybody ever uses the word guarantee.
Right.
If they're like, dude, I guarantee this thing's going to triple in 90 days or whatever, right? Yeah. You're like, there are no guarantees with money.
There aren't.
Zero.
I totally agree with
None
that.
at all. And so when someone uses that word, they're trying to sell you on it, and they use the word guarantee, you need to run the other way.
Okay.
Thank you, but no thank you. If you keep pushing, we might not be friends no more. You know what I mean? Don't ask for 10K out of me or whatever. So, but it's important to be investing in a bunch of different vehicles, which I teach in my program. But for you, so you said you started working, and it's a lot of employers, not all, because I definitely want to stress that not every job has a 401k. Yeah. Okay. I would say 50% of them only.
Right.
But at one point in time, where you were working, they said, hey, you want to,
well, we match. So if you want to, invest into that. So I just started doing that.
So you just start doing that, which I like the 401ks, but I don't like the 401k where most folks believe that's my retirement plan. I have a 401k.
You have to have more than just that.
Your 401k was never intended for that.
What if you lose it all right before you retire?
Right. I mean, and guys, and we talked this about before, is 401k money is tax deferred money. Yeah. You're going to pay tax on that down the road at some point in time. So, and I don't know how many accounts you've seen. I've seen a lot of 401k accounts, and very few 401k accounts have like 100 or 200,000. I've
seen a lot. I've seen some that have like more than that, but very
I've seen
few.
A couple $1 million ones. Yeah. Most people are under 100 grand.
It's under 100.
Under 100.
I agree.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they go borrow against it.
Oh, yeah.
See, they'll build it up 80, 90, 120. Something will come along. Maybe they want to buy a house. I got to go pull 20 or 30 out, right? Yeah. They'll pay the penalty, right? Which is 2 penalties, which is a 10% if you're under 59 and a half. Yeah, and then you're going to pay the tax also, right? So to pull 10 grand out, it's going to cost you like $2 grand.
Yep.
Right. So, but sometimes, as my son likes to say, the juice is worth the squeeze. Like if I needed 10 grand and that's the only place I could get it, but whatever I'm putting it in looked pretty solid, and I'm really confident I did my homework, everything, I might pull it out.
Right.
But we should forget about it. We should consider the 401k a cast iron piggy bank. I can't get in.
That's how I think it should be used too.
It should be.
Right. That's how I see it as. It's something I don't look at.
Most of our investments should have that mindset.
Yeah.
Right. But that's why you want to have investments that will give you cash flow. Right. We talked a minute ago about the property you're in now. At one point in time, it'll be a rental for you.
Yes, it is.
And it'll cash flow and it'll give you income.
Yep, exactly.
Right. And that's ultimately what we want. We want income, cash flow from real estate. We want income from dividends of certain stocks that we might buy. Right. Ultimately, as much as we can, dividends, and then we don't worry about it.
Totally agree.
Because Warren Buffett says, until we learn how to make money while we sleep, we will work until we die.
That's 100% accurate.
We have to make money while we sleep. And that means my money's working for me. I'm invested somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not having to touch it.
And don't put it in one place, guys.
Yeah, no.
5, 6, 7, as many places as you can. And again, if they're all paying you 100, 200 a month, and you got 10, 15 places, paying you that, next thing you know, you 2, 3, 4, 5 grand a month. Perfect. You're like, okay,
yeah,
I'm good. You know what I mean? Let me ask you, at the age you're out now, we talked about mom and dad didn't teach you.
At all.
Have you had a mentor?
Yes, I actually have had a mentor.
Okay. How old? How old were you when you got one?
I think I was about right when I started in the business. Well, being in the loan business, I got a mentor. So he was a branch manager, but he had his financial advisor come in and talk to us, and then kind of went over our finances and how much we should be saving, what we should be doing. And so then I kind of followed that strategy. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, that was your AKA boss helping you bring in an expert to talk about money.
Yeah.
Right. And has he mentored you in just money? Has he mentored you in life?
He's mentored me in I've done he sent me on a lot of business trainings. He's a lot. I've had a business coach because of him and stuff. So me and him are not on good terms anymore. Oh, no. It's not a bad thing. It's okay. It just is what it is.
Right.
But he did at least help me see all of what, like, the roadmap to success.
Good. So then you're grateful.
Yeah, I am grateful. Because then it helped me, like, basically, like, learn what not to do.
Yeah, I mean, picture and imagine if you didn't have him for that whatever period of time. You could be like most of Americans, spending what you make.
And then this business also has been, like, no joke, my mentor too, because I've been seeing all, what's going on with everyone else. And I'm like,
you get to see what's under the hood.
And I'm like, no. I'm not going to be one. I'm like, it doesn't, like, because I look at these things, I'm like, why are you in this situation? And I'm like, well, I was in that situation too, but I, like, learned the hard way and I, like, figured it out, but some people just don't figure it out,
See, that's a great phrase. I learned the hard way.
I learned the hard way.
And a lot of folks learn the hard way.
Right.
Right. We don't need to learn the hard way.
No, I wish I didn't have to. Like, I'm telling my younger sister just recently moved in with me. And so, like, I'm kind of just showing her things that, like, I put this much away, this what you should do. Like,
I mean, how do you think her mindset is with money? How is she with money?
Oh, I'll tell you. So she became a life insurance agent, right? She had 2 big months where she made like 20 grand one month and then like 15. All of a sudden she's in California for like 3 months. Like, So I'm like, her mindset was not good. Right. And then she learned, she's like, I ran out. I ran out of my money and I'm like, now I'm trying to work and I'm not getting any leads in. I'm like, now I have no money to pay my bills that I have. And I'm like, well, that is
such a common story. It's unbelievable. But again, mom and dad don't teach us. We don't know. We're thrusted. The minute we start making money, 16, however old we are, we're playing the game. Mm-hmm. You are in the game whether you realize it or not. Most people don't realize it. And so, like any game we ever learn in life, if you don't know the rules of the game, how do you expect to win?
Yeah.
You can't. You're going to lose and fail every time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm passionate about teaching financial literacy, the fundamentals of money, to get your mindset correct on what to do with money, right? And it's not, and again, I want people to enjoy life, but sometimes we got to say, wait a minute. Your sister just learned a hard way. Yeah. She's probably not likely to do that again.
Not likely to do that again, but I mean, it put her in a bad situation, know, and then she's stressed out, and then,
now she's got to come to big sister. Exactly. Hey, do you mind if I move in for a little while?
Yeah.
And you got to help her out.
Yeah.
Your first car. Tell me about your first car. Did you buy it on your own, or did someone help you?
So actually, my grandparents ended up buying me 2 cars. They bought me 1 car when I was 16, which was a total piece of crap. So then by the time I was 18, I was like, I need another car. So they ended up buying me my second car. I had that for a few years, and then the engine blew. And then so I had to go buy my own car at a dealership. And that's when I bought my first car.
That's when you bought your first car.
Yeah.
What lessons did you learn during those first 2 cars? How to take care of them?
Put oil in them? And the first one. And then, blew transmission. And then make sure oil and all that stuff.
It's funny because my youngest daughter, she's 23. And I tell her, we have to listen to our cars. Mm-hmm. They'll tell us. There's noises they make. And I tell her, I just pay attention. If it starts making a weird noise. So she'll call me every now. Yeah. Dad, it's making a noise. I don't know what it is. Well, come over here. Let me see what blah, 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 right? And I'll figure it out or whatever. I'm like, all right, it's, X, Y, Z. Because you ignore it and look what happens.
Yeah, I know. I had to buy a new transmission for my first car. Yeah, it was just expensive.
Motors are expensive.
And then had to just get a whole other second car.
Whole new car. Yeah. You mentioned it earlier. I don't know if we were on yet. Your worst money decision.
Oh, that insurance policy I did. So I work with a bunch of realtors, and one of the realtors ended up getting their life insurance, right? So they're like, hey, we want to show you this policy. It could be a good investment, retirement. And then like on paper, it like
sounded
the way
good.
They sold me, it sounded really, really good. And so then I got into it, and I was like $7,000 into it. And then I was part of this BNI group where we had a financial advisor, and he actually did a whole presentation on this and how they've been screwing people, and showed that the policy will actually cancel out at a certain year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to look at my policy because I'm freaking out. And he looked at it and he said, you have the bad policy, cancel it, lost the money.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Again, and I shared with Tabitha that at 32, single, people need to understand, and this is real big. I see it all over the internet right now, YouTube and stuff, people trying to sell these policies, these IULs out there. And understand the whole purpose of life insurance and why we all should or shouldn't have it, right? Mm-hmm. You're not married with kids or anything. You don't need that. What you need is a living trust.
Okay.
Yeah. Because all the assets you have should be in a living trust. God forbid something happens, knock on wood, doesn't, that whatever you actually own in assets goes to whoever you say it goes to, your beneficiary.
Right.
Right. A life insurance policy has a beneficiary also, but that you're correct by what the guy told you, that they implode.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's what happens. But they implode not till later.
No, not till it was like year 4. I don't know.
It's
it was
like
really
year 35 or so.
Yeah,
30,
like year
35 up there.
or something.
Because that insurance policy rates, they actually go up monthly. They just don't tell you they go up or annually. They don't tell you they go up annually. They just take it out of the savings that it's been.
Yeah, and then
doing.
that's when.
And when that runs out, then they come to you and go, yeah, your premium's $3,000 this month, and your account's empty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're 62 years old, going, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, well, yeah, that's how it works. Didn't you read the paperwork?
I'm
like,
glad I canceled it earlier than later, though.
Yeah, so you lost a couple of bucks, learned a lesson.
Learned a lesson.
You know what I mean? So I'm a huge advocate of term only, which is when you get married and you have a house and some kids, and God forbid something happens, one spouse doesn't want to leave the other spouse hanging.
Right.
Especially in today's world where both spouses are working, you need both incomes usually. Talk to me, how old were you when you actually sat down and started writing goals down? Having goals and then writing them down, or do you write them down now?
I mean, I do that normally. So like,
when you say normally,
yeah. Well, like I do a vision board every year.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, every year I've been doing a vision board for years about like what I want. But like I've got really lucky that I started working for this mortgage company because they would have us do these things. Like, what's your vision? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? So I was doing this for work because they would make me, but that's when we'd sit down.
So before work, did you have
before 21, before this? No, like, I mean, I had goals, but I didn't write them down. Like, it wasn't like putting them on paper. Like, this is what I want, not at all. Just I had them in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've heard the story about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's vitally important for us to write our goals down. And our goals are going to change all the time. Vision boards are great because we're all visual people, and whatever's on. And typically when people do vision boards, it's like the car I want, the house I want, the vacation I want.
Mine was like learning Italian. Like I want to spend more time with my family. Yeah. Like things like I did things like that. And then I put the dates of like when I kind of want things to be completed by. So like it was more like a time frame. Yeah.
Yeah. If people can get in the habit of writing goals down regularly, literally almost daily. Some people may call them to-do list. I don't like that term, to-do list. But having a goal, writing it down and just having a clear written path of where you're going, you'll actually get there.
I like that. I journal.
If you don't, journaling's great. Because if you don't do that, we won't ever get there, right? And you'll wonder 10, 15, 20 years later, like, man, I wanted to do that since I was, 20 or whatever, right? Yeah. And it doesn't happen. So then you're more than above average as far as people with goals. Because most people, I tell them there's a big difference between a dream and a goal.
Yeah, no.
A dream's a dream. I mean, I wish I want.
Get to that goal?
A goal is something that you're actually striving for, and you have an action plan towards it.
Totally agree.
Right? Yeah. Totally two different things. And dreaming is great because dreams can ultimately turn into a goal. Like, I want that bad enough that I'm going to make it a goal now. I'm going to create an action plan, whatever it may be. Right. A vacation, whatever. Right. And so for you guys listening, and the proof is in the pudding. Harvard's done a study about it. People who have clear written goals earn 10 times more money than people who don't.
It's literally. No, I know. It's true. They teach us this because I have a business coach now. We do this quarterly. I do like where I'm at, where I want to be in my business, what like my units I want to do. Like we have to write them down. It's a true thing. Yeah. And tracking is another thing. You have to track where you're at.
That's why you're above your peers. Right?
Probably.
I mean, if we could look it up statistically, 32 years old, the average wage is, I saw it a couple of weeks ago. The average wage is like 60,000.
Oh yeah. I made that when I was like 25.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you're like 25, 24.
You're a higher go-getter, as we'll say. Right. How old were you when you, before work, shared? Because I want to make sure I asked the question correctly. When you really thought about retirement and took retirement seriously?
When?
Yeah, when did you think about that? I mean, when they told you to open the 401k and that's for retirement, but did you really start thinking about it?
No, I didn't, honestly. I think because I'm in this business, I started seeing all these other people, right? And older people, and then like how like they have a social security check that's like $1,300 a month, and that's all they have. That's it. They have no other way to get any other money, and they're too old to work. So then I think around like 25, 26, and that's when I bought my house, is like I started thinking about like, okay, what am I going to do? Because this check is not even going to, like help me with anything. And so that's when I need to come up with a game plan on like how I'm going to retire and how much I need when I retire and what that means. And so
did you come up with a game plan?
I kind of did, but I don't know if it's like the right one. I wanted to buy, so my goal was to buy 5 houses by the time I was like 38. Right. Okay. And then I wanted to like do it where like I bought a house, have the tenants basically pay off the house. And then by the time I was like, like 60, 65, hopefully those houses are paid off. and then I could use the rental income as that's like was one of my things.
It's your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking.
That's the beginning of a plan, right? I think for most folks is we're all going to get accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Right.
Right. And we should be at the height of our lifestyle right around the age 40 to 45, right?
Okay.
Whatever your lifestyle is at that point in time, meaning the type of home you want to live in, I'll just use round numbers as an example. Let's say it's a 3,000 square foot home. It's worth $500,000. You're like, I'm pretty comfortable, or, I don't need 3,000 feet when I retire.
Right.
I'll be able to, let me live in 2,000 feet, right? Less, and I'll have it paid for. But you like to go to dinner 2 or 3 times a week, have 1 or 2 decent vacations a year. We pencil all that out. And let's just say round numbers, that comes to $75,000 a year, right? To live your lifestyle. Well, we need to know that most people think retirement is an age. Right? What age do you think retirement is?
When people are at 62, right? Is that like the retirement age? That's when.
So, which is silly. I hate the word retirement to begin with, right? Because the stigma is that retirement is an age. And the fact of the matter is it isn't. Retirement, which I don't like to use, I like to say, let's strive for financial independence.
I like that.
Which means that we live on the money that our money makes.
Right.
So if my lifestyle becomes $75,000 a year, which is about $6,500 a month, right? Okay, I need to have my money working to pay me dividends of $6,500 a month.
Right.
When that happens, you are financially independent. You don't have to go to work.
Right.
But let me ask you, do people like Warren Buffett go to work today?
Yeah, I think he works, right?
Bill Gates goes to work.
Yeah.
Billionaires go work.
Yeah.
Do they have to?
No.
No, because they want to. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Especially what you do for a living. I would imagine you must have fun at it.
Oh, I love what I do. Yeah.
Like, I can't sit still.
Yeah.
I got to always be moving.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I thought I was barely got here in time today from what I was doing this morning.
Yeah.
My point is, let's not go through life thinking there's an end. There isn't.
Right.
Let's just run life on our own.
Well, to me, it's time, right? So like, I want to, I want to be able to do what I want with my time.
Right.
When I want to, when I'm at a certain age, if that makes sense. I don't want to have to, I probably will definitely do doing this. It's have junior loan officers underneath me, have my business still running. But if I want to go to Europe for a month and a half with, I want to be able to do that.
Right.
So that's what it means to me.
When do you want to, but what do you want?
I've been doing that kind of stuff now, because I set myself up to kind of do that kind of stuff at this age. So I've been enjoying that part of my lifestyle. But that's when I realized I should have waited a few years. That money I've been doing that with, I could be investing into something else to put me a little bit further. Do you know what I mean?
I'm so happy you said that, because I stress this to the younger generation, my kids. Like, you need to sacrifice a little bit for these every weekend fun weekends to once a month fun weekend, right? And trust me, because the fun that I believe, my oldest child's getting ready to be 40, so anybody under 40 is a kid to me. So I stress to them that the fun that you're having is such small time fun.
Yep.
You don't even get it. Like you just said, I did a Europe trip, my wife and I, last year, and that's the fun you want. But those trips aren't cheap.
No.
You know what I mean? They cost money, but we went on a trip last year. It doesn't even put a dent in me. It doesn't faze me, but I had a great experience. I did a bucket list for me. I'm an avid golfer, and I went and golfed in Scotland.
Oh, that's so cool.
But
cool.
When most people who trade time for money, you have to save all year for your vacation, because your vacation's $8,000 or whatever the number is. And all right, I'm back. Now I got to save all year again for the next one, versus if your money worked for you all the time and you had multiple 6 figures in the bank and you want to go on a $10,000 vacation, it's like you just went and had dinner.
Right.
It doesn't financially, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very comfortable feeling to have, but it's very, you have to have self-discipline early in life.
Oh, I know.
Let me ask you if you know what the rule of 72 is.
No.
You know? Okay. The rule of 72 is compound interest.
Oh, compound interest. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And how that works.
Isn't it every 7
It can double. Well, yeah.
That's what it is.
It's 1%, right?
Yeah.
We're either paying or earning, interest.
Yeah.
And if we just use the example of if you're earning 1% on your money, it takes 72 years to double your money, which is basically a lifetime.
Okay.
So earning 1% is not thrilling.
No.
Right?
What's the name?
So we need to learn how to earn, I say, double-digit interest on our money. We want to double our money every 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
Right? Which is 12%,
right.
which is very doable. And there's a lot of areas, especially in real estate, we can earn a lot more than 12%. You know what I mean? But until people realize that, and then on the other side of the coin, when you're paying, you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy a car, right? If your credit's not good, what are they charging you?
Extra interest. And that adds up.
Which means they're making the money.
Yeah.
That's how they make so much money. Is because they love to lend money to people with low credit.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to make that much more money.
Sure. And
right? They love it. They love it. And the magic number for credit, guys, and I've shared it before, is 750. It goes to 850, but anything over 750, I like to call gravy, because it doesn't matter. You're going to get the best.
That's what we call
a
a top tier in our industry.
750.
Yeah, you're a top tier.
Yeah, after that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to, the person with 825 is getting the same rate
thing as the
750.
It's so true.
So just get the 750. And also remember, your credit scores are like your heartbeat. They go up and down because we spend money all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's going to do that. And if you're hovering around that 750, then just be careful. Time it. Hey, I'm going to buy a house or a car. It's usually, you don't wake up on a Saturday going to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, in about 6 months, I want to buy a house. Well, then go do the right things with your credit, pay off some bills, whatever, get your score up, and then get the best rate possible. So do you think you're on track for some type of financial independence / retirement?
I think I am. Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I think I am. Yeah. Not where I want to be, but I could have done better. Like I had a personal trainer that was giving like $800 a month to last year. And like, like things where I'm like stupid. Like I could have learned the workouts or did 6 months with him, not 2 years with him. You know what I mean? And then $800 a month into an investment account would be sitting a little bit more pretty right now. Like things like that where I'm like,
so at 32, let's fast forward 25 years, 27 years, at 60.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be?
Where do I want to be? I want to have cash flow income of like at least $15K a month coming in from my lifestyle.
Okay.
My house, I want to be free and clear, or I want to have a reverse mortgage on it. It's a whole different separate thing I've been learning about, and that's a good investment.
Yep.
Tool too. And then I just probably have my loan business where I'm like the face of it. I probably come to the office a few times a week, or like I still talk to my clients, but I have like a team running, everything underneath me.
So do you foresee staying in this business long term?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have any other streams of income besides what you do now?
Actually, I do not. No, I do have this dream. It's not a dream. It's a goal, because I've been looking at like the blueprints of everything of it. I do. So I love dogs. Okay. So I've always said I wanted to open up some kind of business with dogs, nonprofit kind of thing, like to help dogs. So I was thinking of opening up this, like in Vegas, they don't have one. It's basically a place where humans could go and like the dogs could go, like a hangout. So they'll have like a bar, a food place for the humans. And then I'm going to have like agility court, and I want to have like 2 pools, like a dog pool, and then at night, like I could like have a spot for like rescues to be there, so I could I can help dogs like have some place to live. And so that's what I want to do, and it could be a side business or a nonprofit, but that's like something I want.
So that's awesome, because to me I want to give back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I share with people, it doesn't do us any good, any of us, to go out there and be successful at whatever level that you want if we don't in turn give back.
Yes.
Right. I started teaching financial literacy because I want to give back. Right. And my program's very affordable. It's enough to I got to keep it going. Right. Because I want to teach. I mean, picture and imagine this country if only 15% of the people were living paycheck to paycheck.
It would be way better.
Right. The country would be in a much better position. Right. The government wouldn't have to worry about subsidizing everybody for every little thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And the only reason that happens is because people never learned the money game. Right. We all have the ability to go out there, give value to the marketplace, in return, live our lifestyle. So for you at 62, roughly almost $200K a year bringing in, to having a nonprofit to give back and enjoying life on your terms.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great plan.
That's what my
plan
is.
Yeah. It's just a matter of now actually implementing that, so you hit that, meaning, so that's 25 years from now that Tabitha should have benchmarks, right? So reverse engineer, this is where I want to be, this is where I should be every 5 years going backwards.
Right.
And now every 5 years looking, am I on track?
Right. Because
we have to test and measure that I'm on track or I'm behind. And if I'm behind, what do I have to do?
Right.
I have to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta go
I highly always encourage multiple streams of income, because like COVID happened, if you don't want all our eggs in one basket, and something like COVID or whatever else might happen, you're like, holy crap. What am I going to do? I can't make no money. Nobody's buying houses right now. Right. What are you going to do?
I could have flipped. Well, I flipped one house once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like that would be a fun side business for me. But like that also, I did it with a partner, and they had all the contractors.
How are you with being online?
Online?
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. There's so many people, not just your age, my age, but there's 14-year-olds that are making $100,000 a month online.
That's something they're trying to, that's what my branch was wanting me to focus on, because I've gotten a lot of my business from Instagram.
Okay.
Right. And so that's something I want to do, is I could make money like online. I should try it. I just haven't done it.
Right.
Yeah.
I would highly encourage you and you listeners out there all over the world. The internet is global.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an internet connection, you're on. There are so many people selling this, that, whatever kind of program, training, blah, 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 and making just tons of money.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'll give you an example. You are a loan officer in Las Vegas.
In California.
In California. So that's your market. You can't do it anywhere else. If you decide, let's just say, for example, you're like, I'm really good at what I do. And I think if I came up with a training course to teach new people, and maybe you target women, like, hey, if you want to get in a loan business, I'm a female, I'll teach you how to do it. I have the simplified course and it's $299 or whatever.
Right.
Right. But loan officers are all over the planet.
Right.
So your audience isn't just Vegas or whatever part of
yeah.
California. Our audience is the world. This is why people are making so much money online.
That's smart.
Because it's not like, Guido, who has a pizza shop, he services a 3-mile radius of wherever his pizza shop is.
Right.
He's not selling pizza to the guy on the other end of town, because that guy's not traveling all the way over here for a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
He's only doing the 3-mile radius. So picture and imagine if your audience was the globe.
You can make
That's
make
why.
a lot of
So
money.
I really highly encourage most people, and there's so much going on online, it's crazy, that try to find yourself, develop something that you could give value online and sell that would make a ton of money.
That's smart. That's actually really smart. It's really good advice.
And especially if you're like really good on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I'm horrible on social media. I hire it out. I pay people to do it.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. It's just not in my wheelhouse to do that. Right. I'm even technologically challenged. I hired people to do all of that. Like, we're recording this. I have an editor. He's going to edit this thing.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. My job is to do what we're doing right now. Sit here and talk to you. And then after that, it goes out to other people, and when it's ready, then my wife will post it, right? So I even outsource that, right?
Yeah,
so as much as we can outsource, and I imagine you do some outsourcing and what you do right now.
I do right now, yeah.
Right? Outsourcing is the best thing ever,
it is. It
right?
frees up your time to make time for what you're...
Outsourcing is leveraging, right? We can leverage time, people, and money. And the sooner that you learn how to do all three of those, the more money you're going to make.
I know.
Right? We can't, nor do we want to do everything. There are people that are like that. I'm sure you know people or have met people like, I got to do it all myself. I'm like, are you nuts? Why?
Why?
To delegate, to outsource.
I love delegating.
Make money while you outsource is really the best path to go down. Man, I have a question here, but I don't know that it pertains to you.
Okay.
What would you tell, I could, because it's been a little while. You're 32. Reflecting back now, what would you tell your 21-year-old self?
Oh, okay. That other people's opinions aren't going to pay your bills. That's what I would tell.
That's a nice one.
That's what I would tell myself. So
be careful who you listen to.
Yeah. Exactly. Be careful who you listen to, and do more research, and just, I don't know, just to do more research.
Well, you're here today, and it's awesome. I really appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast, because you're being proactive at this point in time. And this is all I ask people to do. Try to be proactive on learning about money and how it really works, right? It's a game that we're all playing. Learn the rules, learn how to make money. That's the number one thing about why billionaires are billionaires. It's not because they're trading time. We all have 24 hours in a day. I don't care who you are. Nobody gets more, nobody gets less, right? They've all just learned how to leverage time, people, and money.
It's true.
And that's how they become billionaires, right? So the sooner that we all figure out that, hey, my money makes more money than me, is when you will start to accumulate wealth.
Yeah.
So that's your job. Where can I go put my money to work? I like to use the term, money are my little soldiers. And I set them out there in the world.
Yeah.
Go recruit.
I love that.
Those are my soldiers, and they're out there recruiting my big army.
And
right? But if I don't send my soldiers out there to recruit, guess what? They're going to die over here.
Yeah,
they're going to die over here.
And savings.
Savings is, I always say, one of my in my course, my savings module is, we have to save for a purpose only. Don't save just to save money.
Yeah.
That's silly. Again, if money makes money and you're like, well, there's an investment, it's $5,000 and I have 3, I got to save 2 more. All right. However long it's going to take you to save $2,000 to go put this $5,000 to work over here, because that's going to give me a 7 or 8% return, whatever it may be.
I agree. One of my ex-boyfriends he taught me a lot. We're still really good friends, but he invests in, everything, gold, silver. He's also. I consider him kind of like a mentor to me. Yeah, because I mean, he's in real estate, he's in gold and silver, he's in the stock market, he's all over because
because he understands. Think about your money. We watch sports, right?
Yeah.
And whatever sport we watch, there's a scoreboard, right? There's a score in this game. There's A and B players against each other. There's a score at least, and we know who we're rooting for and what's going on. In life, our scoreboard is our money out there working.
Right.
And when we see that money growing, it gets very exciting.
And he's addicted to that.
It is very addicting to watch your money grow. I just put it out there. I didn't actually do anything because you work hard for your money. You put in the time to get that commission, that paycheck, right? You put in a lot of time and effort to get that. Picture and imagine getting that type of money, and all you did was put that out there. You didn't actually have to do anything.
Exactly. It's nice.
So that's why it's addicting because you're like, you just look at a statement, and you're like, holy crap.
Like all I did
that was a pretty good quarter right there. I made some money.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't mean go spend it and blow it. Exactly. Because once you realize, when people really understand compounding, and you're like, wow, this year 15% of my money made, 30 grand or whatever. Well, I don't need anything. I shouldn't really go, you know what? I'll make 45 grand if I just keep this working.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And time goes by. Now at 32 how fast time goes.
Oh.
Crazy.
It's so fast.
It's
I'm still not over it.
mid-March of 23 already.
Yeah, exactly.
Already mid-March
I'm already
of
33.
Right. It's crazy how fast it goes. So that's how fast your money can grow. So it's not about how much we can make to go spend. It's how much money we can make to go put to work. The sooner you do that, the sooner you don't have to work, that your money's working. You get to go on your European vacation.
That's what, he's like in my ear, like all about that. Like keeps very little, like 3 to 6 months in a savings account. Everything else, he's like, I invest. And like,
invest. And then, you'll treat yourself. Mm-hmm. It's we work life on percentages, you'll be better off.
Right.
Right. Because 10% of $100 is only $10. That's not a lot of money. But 10% of $100,000 is $10,000. That's a little chunk of money.
It is. And I actually met this multimillionaire, Jordan Adler. He actually wrote a book called Beach Money. He was in my BNI group. Okay. So we went to lunch and he said his biggest mistake is he didn't start saving 10% of what he's like, basically he blew. Yeah. Early on. He said he learned the hard way, but I've learned that from people that have blown, like they had a bunch of money, blew it all, and they had to learn the hard way.
Well, because we only have so much time on this planet.
Right.
Right. And the way compounding works is it's very, at the end, heavy loaded at the end. So at the first 7 or 8 years, you're not seeing a lot of action going on. But then it starts to, it's like a snowball going down a mountain. Next thing you know, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so if people who don't start till after the age of 30, it just takes that much longer than if you started at 20.
I totally agree.
But at 20, you just think, I want the newest, latest, greatest shoes, car.
I have to impress everyone.
Right. And you get caught in that. And that's why I find through conversation that it's right around 30 years old, plus or minus a couple of years, where people go, you know what, I got to take this money thing more serious because I've been working my tail off and I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got a couple of good memories or whatever, but.
Yeah. And added up like how much I've made over the course of, and I was like, okay.
Right. If you add that up.
That's when I was like, that was my aha moment this year. I was like, why don't I have more?
Right.
If I've made this much in like 5, I should have way more.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I've learned.
Well, so you have your sister. Mm-hmm. Has anybody asked you to be a mentor?
No. I mean, my sister is the only one that really has asked me to be a mentor. Yeah. Would you be a mentor if someone, if I don't want to say a stranger. Typically, I tell people that no one's out there advertising, I'll be your mentor kind of a thing. Most mentors happen because people ask, hey, I really think you're awesome and successful. And I'd like to know and learn how you did what you did. Would you mentor me? Oh, totally. And 99% of people will say, sure. What do you want to know? Right. It's not top secret, right? Yeah. So if someone came to you, you'd be open to that? I would be open to that, yeah. Yeah, so put that out there because you'll be surprised. You know when we learn the most? What? When we teach. I've heard that before. We learn the most when we teach. That's actually so smart. The sooner you start mentoring people at whatever level, if you're comfortable at the low basics, like we're just talking today, right? You could change lives. I love that. Literally. Make an impact. Right? Make a huge impact. And then 2, 3, 5, whatever many years later, they'll come back to you thanking you. Yeah. Just being so grateful that, man, your mentorship when it started was awesome. And that's if people actually take it. Right. Because we can teach people all kinds of things, but unless they take action to do things, I trust me when I do credit repair with people. Because I've learned that.
Yeah, right?
They either do it or they don't.
They do it, and unfortunately, most people don't. But no, awesome. Tabitha, this was great having you out here today.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, she's not your typical 32-year-old by any means. She's thought about it. She told us that mom and dad didn't teach her nothing, if anything, more bad habits than good habits, and had the wherewithal to understand at that early age, that wasn't the path for you.
Yeah, no.
Right. And unfortunately for a lot of people, that path happens the rest of their lives. Right. Or they learn it at 40 or 50, they realized, right. Way too long. So you learned it early. So I think that's really awesome and commendable. And I think you have a lot to give.
Thank you.
And I would love to just, when you see people, say, I'll talk with you.
Okay.
And share, because I'm called Money Conversations with KJ because I love talking about money. And people either do or don't want to talk about money, and they don't want to talk about it when they have it because they're afraid someone wants to borrow it. Mm-hmm. Right. And so it's okay. I don't lend people money. I give money, but I don't lend money. And I love if we could all learn from ourselves, then this planet could be a better place.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, guys. Remember, if you're on the podcast, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you're on my YouTube channel, smash the like button, subscribe to that one. And also on my website page, I've got a webinar coming out this Thursday, the 16th. Register for that. It's on my landing page, moneyconversationswithkj.com. You can go on there and register for that. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next podcast. Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Really enjoyed making all these episodes for you. Remember, we're just having conversations with people's journey with money and the things they did right with it, the things that did wrong with it, and how did they really come about getting their mindset with money. So every episode's different. We all have a good takeaway from them. So do me a favor, hit the like button, smash the like button, and subscribe to my channel, because every episode that I do is going to be different, as all our journeys are different. So you guys take care, and we'll talk to you next week.